So how much eggplant gains can you expect from a protocol like this? Well, personally, after running various experiments, I gained about 4 to 5. Vigorous Steve here with a video I didn't really want to make, but you guys keep bugging me in the comment section as well as through Instagram direct messages. And I even got a couple of emails asking me to release this protocol in video format. So here we are, the how to grow your penis overnight without the use of penis pumps protocol. Yes, I didn't expect myself to be in this position, sharing my personal experience with Andractim cream and a couple other protocols, which we'll discuss in this video. Don't get your hopes up. My results were kind of lackluster, but still, there were results, so I have something to report and a protocol to describe. So if you're willing to undergo some of these steps, which I will discuss in this video, maybe you can expect, maybe you can expect a couple millimeters of length and girth. Before we get into it, please like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you want to vote for upcoming deep dives or join the private Vigorous Q&A, which is 1 hour on Saturday before it goes public, consider joining the YouTube memberships or the Patreon memberships. Details down below. Alright, where to start? Let's just start with Andractim DHT cream, which I ran for a couple weeks when I was still on cycle. So this experiment concluded approximately 3 months ago. I did my fair share of experimentation. So this is just the final protocol which I want to discuss with you guys, which yielded some sort of result. But let's discuss a couple of fun biology facts first so you understand how penile growth is actually regulated. Serum testosterone concentrations of the mother contribute to how big the penis is going to grow during pregnancy, right? It has a regulatory role in overall size and girth of the infant. And then later on during puberty, DHT seems to regulate the further development of the penile tissue. So testosterone of your mother, you can't really regulate, so you have to choose your parents carefully. Unfortunately, that's not up to you, but from what I know from my wife's testosterone levels during her entire adulthood, I think my child is going to be well ahead of everybody else. Now, that being said, most of you guys are no longer in your adolescent years. And if you're currently an adolescent, you shouldn't be watching this video. You need to go back to Disney.com. So for all of the adults here, for all of the guys that ever ran DHT derivatives, Primabol and Masteron, Winstrol, Anavar, etc., did your penis grow to astronomical amounts? I mean, if you're applying 1 or 2 or maybe even 5 milliliters of Andractim cream on your penis, the DHT concentration that you get on a daily basis is not that significant when you compare that to systemic release and systemic levels of maybe 1,000 milligrams Primobolan per week, right? Those levels are going to be way higher. Now, unfortunately, DHT enanthate is nowhere to be found. But again, we have DHT cream in the form of Andractim, which can help with penile growth when applied locally. This is something you have to realize, right? Is it going to be a magic formula to grow your penis overnight? No, it won't, but it might help with erectile quality and the overall engorgement of your member when you're applying a couple other practices, which we'll discuss later on. It is of note that both finasteride and dutasteride have been linked to erectile dysfunction and even the shortening of a fully erect penis, because finasteride and dutasteride are 5-alpha reductase inhibitors and lower serum DHT concentrations. So keep that in mind. If you're currently on finasteride and dutasteride to prevent hair loss and you're going to apply DHT locally, keep in mind that DHT will go systemic to a certain extent and might exacerbate hair loss. And if you're currently suffering from finasteride or dutasteride erectile dysfunction, I made a video about that, detailing how to overcome that with several different practices. I'll link it at the end of this one. And for the guys who are going to try this protocol, be forewarned, I can't emphasize this enough. Don't do this under any circumstance. Don't put DHT cream on your penis before intercourse, because transvaginal absorption is a real thing. Yes, your wife, your girlfriend, your partner can actually absorb several compounds through the vagina directly. This is well documented in the scientific literature. I'll link a couple studies down below so you can research and convince yourself that this is a terrible idea. And otherwise, if you proceed with that practice, over time, your wife's genitalia, her clitoris, will get larger and larger and larger to the point she develops a penis that is bigger than yours. And then you might as well join the Ladyboy Parade over here in Thailand. So, with that out of the way, this is what I did. I administered 2 milliliters of Andractim 2.5% DHT cream on my penis before going to bed. This yields about 5 milligrams of actual DHT, so it's not that much. This would be a similar dose you would take sublingually to improve your libido, which works very well for men. I'll link those videos at the end of this one. So you'll get about 5 milligrams of net dihydrotestosterone spread out over the penis. Don't rub it on your testicles. That's something you would do for testosterone replacement therapy purposes, where you use testosterone cream on the testicles for the most bioavailable absorption possible. I would limit to the shaft and the tip of the penis only because, well, Andractim DHT cream is quite expensive, and 2 milliliters yielding 5 milligrams net DHT is more than sufficient. This way, your single tube will last a very long time. Because how much is your penis actually going to grow overnight? Don't expect an 18-inch behemoth from one day to the next. Make this Andractim DHT cream last. 2 milliliters is more than enough. Let that dry. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Don't play with it during this time. Just let everything dry. And then wear a loose pair of boxer shorts overnight so you don't transfer any of the residual DHT cream to your partner. It's as simple as that. And then overnight, you want to increase blood flow to the penis while multiple erections occur throughout the night by increasing cyclic guanosine monophosphate concentrations using a phosphodiesterase type 5 enzyme inhibitor, PDE5 inhibitor, in the form of sildenafil, vardenafil, or tadalafil. That's the Viagra, Levitra, and Cialis. Now, Viagra and Levitra have a reasonably short half-life of, let's say, 3 to 5 hours, but Cialis has a half-life of 17.5 hours. So that's for even longer than the time that you're actually asleep. So you don't have to start with the full dose of 20 milligrams, because if you're going to take Cialis before bed every single day, that is going to build up in your bloodstream due to this long half-life. So if you're going to go with Cialis, which is what I took, I would limit it to about 10 milligrams before bed on the days that you're taking DHT cream, which, let's be honest, you're going to do that every single day of the week. So it will build up. 10 milligrams Cialis before bed is more than enough. And due to its long half-life, whether you take it at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, or after midnight, it doesn't really matter because it will build up in the bloodstream anyway. So this improves blood flow to the penis. I think the combination of Cialis and DHT cream is more than sufficient to make you do a handstand when you want to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That is what happened to me. I would have to bend so far forwards when I had to go to the bathroom. That would almost turn into a handstand across the toilet bowl, right? So expect to urinate for a very long time if you happen to wake up with a monstrous erection. Okay, what can you do to improve your erectile quality and penis girth and size and length further? Growth hormone Secretagogues, which I would choose over actual injectable growth hormone, which is only one isoform of growth hormone with a molecular weight of 22 kilodaltons, whereas with growth hormone Secretagogues, you get 3 isoforms produced in the pituitary, assuming that you're not very, very old. Your pituitary is very, very lazy and non-cooperative to growth hormone Secretagogues. So let's say you're a little bit on the younger side, let's say below 50 years old, then you would get, with a growth hormone Secretagogue, an isoform of growth hormone weighing 20 kilodaltons, 22 kilodaltons, as well as 23 kilodaltons. There's another isoform available in post-exercise states, which is approximately 23 to 24 kilodaltons, but nobody is going to train before bed, which I already explained on why you have insomnia on TRT, right? Training before bed keeps you awake for a multitude of hours, and you do need to get your sleep in for your penis to level up and reach its maximal potential. So we have 2 kinds of growth hormone Secretagogues that we can choose from. Ideally, you combine both the growth hormone releasing hormone receptor agonists with a ghrelin receptor agonist. I'll put it on the screen right now so you can make a selection of your own with the dosages I recommend. Personally, I would either go with a combination of tesamorelin with ipamorelin, which is available through some of the compounding pharmacies and the TRT clinics in America and other countries all over the world. And otherwise, well, that's what gray area peptide websites are for. Or a combination of CJC with the drug affinity complex, so you only have to inject that once per week, and MK677 ibutamorin for the maximum amount of growth hormone secretion, which will occur overnight, assuming that you dose these compounds about the time that you're going to bed, right? You want this growth hormone secretion and IGF-1 production downstream to happen while DHT cream and Cialis or another PDE5 inhibitor is promoting the erectile quality overnight. You want everything to occur around the same time so your penis can grow. Keep in mind that growth hormone secretion is blunted by somatostatin, which is produced by the stomach when your stomach is full. So don't go to bed with a full stomach. I would eat approximately 2 hours before going to bed and then administer your growth hormone secretagogues right before you go to bed, because the biggest growth hormone pulses are going to occur, assuming that you're sleeping according to your circadian rhythm, around 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. So you want to dose your GH secretagogues right before bed, 2 hours after finishing your last meal. Insulin also blunts growth hormone secretion, so again, not too much carbohydrates in the evening. And there's even some scientific evidence that dihydrotestosterone itself can blunt or inhibit growth hormone secretion. So keep that in mind. Don't overdo the DHT cream. Keep it on your penis exclusively. Overdoing it might blunt further growth hormone secretion, even if you're taking a very potent or a combination of growth hormone secretagogues. So even though eating right before bed isn't exactly recommended, you would still need to provide the building blocks for your penis to grow with all of these performance-enhancing drugs in the picture. The penis is predominantly made up of various collagen types. So supplying collagen during this time that your penis is engorged would be advised, recommended, I would say. So let's say 2 hours before you go to bed and administer all of these drugs, you would have 50 grams of casein coming from cottage cheese or quark. So that's half a kilo of cottage cheese or a half a kilo of quark. I'm sure you guys living in Europe are familiar with quark. I would used to eat that right before bed every single day of the week because those tubs were only 50 cents. Really, really cheap for 50 grams of protein. And even though it's casein protein, it's not very biologically active. You simply take this casein protein to mix 20 grams of collagen into, so you can slow the digestion and release this casein protein and release this collagen protein slowly overnight. And 2 hours before bed should give you enough time for your stomach to kind of empty itself and reduce the somatostatin levels and the insulin levels, which this meal will potentiate. And my preferred collagen supplement recommendation would be the one from Gorilla Mind, which has collagen type 1, 2, and 3, including hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, which helps with collagen deposition. And collagen deposition for the various collagen structures within the penis is what we're after. So this is the entire protocol. I'll put it on the screen right now so you can kind of have an overview of this protocol. So how much eggplant gains can you expect from a protocol like this? Well, personally, after running various experiments, I gained about 4 to 5 millimeters of actual length and girth, which is noticeable, but I can't say that my wife came any harder than before doing this protocol. So take from that what you will. I will leave you with this story. Use your imagination. Remember when you were younger, in your early 20s, and you go to a house party, and you meet a girl, but it takes you about 30 minutes, maybe even 1 hour, to build up the confidence to ask your friend, the host of the house party, to use a room to get the job done, right? And during this time, you're having a lot of foreplay. It's very, very exciting. Your penis is getting more and more and more engorged. And when your friend finally allows you to use his sister's room filled with NSYNC posters, when you take the girl to this room, you look down and you realize that your penis is gigantic because you've had a lot of blood flow. There was a lot of foreplay. When you get older, especially when you're in a relationship, your foreplay is about 1 minute long. Oh, the kids are asleep? Let's go. The cats are asleep? Let's go, right? I'm sure you guys that are married can relate. So the foreplay is reduced to a single sentence, whereas before, when you had house parties, not a house of your own, a very limited availability where you can actually do the nasty with a girl you just met. When that moment comes, you pull your pants down and you realize that your penis is so engorged that you can barely get the condom on. I'm sure you guys remember this, or for the guys who were sexually active in their early 20s, I surely remember this time fondly. So I would say that a protocol like this would give you an engorged penis to the same degree that you would get from a very long session of foreplay, but nothing beyond that. But the good thing is that with a protocol like this, you have an engorged penis like that every single day of the week. Will you actually gain new penile tissue? Probably not. Will it look impressive nonetheless? Yes, it will, to the same extent that a pumped arm or pumped leg or any other body part that you trained vigorously looks impressive, right? Full with blood, maybe a lot of veins, and certainly a lot bigger than average. And otherwise, you can always consider penis pumping using a Bathmate or an LA pump. I never tried those, but I know those are available, so give those a consideration if you want to have the full effects of a protocol like this. There's Caverject, there's Papivarine, and if you're really desperate, there's Amino Asylum Stampede with AMP and ATP, but I wouldn't recommend it, right? Those contain other ingredients. I would rather inject that into skeletal muscle for the absolute phenomenal mega pump that product induces. Okay, guys, I'll leave it here. I hope it was informative and entertaining. And again, guys, follow this protocol modestly. Don't overdo it. Don't make your penis explode to the point you're left with a stump without any sensation, right? You can overdo it. There's plenty of horror stories out there on the internet. So take it slow, take it modestly, and don't expect too much out of a protocol like this because, well, performance-enhancing drugs aren't magic. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Vigorous crew, you guys know what to do. A front double bicep for you guys. Not as pumped as it used to be, but hey, you know what they say? It's all about the motion in the ocean. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.